Welcome back, everybody. Got some new suspects with us tonight. Got the driver of the 05 in Friday Night Lights and the driver of the 15. Michael Carter and Braden Carter are with us. I was going to say, as always, Brian Dickens is with me. He's on my to my left up there, I suppose, with professional backdrop and a new camera, and Brian's looking good. So we got Michael and Braden with us to talk about Friday Night Lights a little bit. What a season, fellas. Welcome to the show. Um, what a season. I've got the stats up in front of me. Michael, you had 8 wins in the 358s. Braden had 3. There were only 2 other cars that won in the 358s in the 15-week season. You won 7 in the pro late models. Braden won 6 in the pro late models. There were only 2 other winners in those divisions. So, gentlemen, welcome to the show. Apparently, this season was your show. Man, welcome to the show. Brian, welcome back.
Thank you, sir.
You know, I didn't think it could get better than last year, but Michael, you upped your game this year, even compared to last year. What do you attribute that to?
First of all, thanks for having us on. Really appreciate you guys. We put in a lot of time this year on practice, and through the week we practiced the tracks that we were racing at, and the winter time I got a little more time because racing season's not going on, so I can actually get on here and turn some laps of Brayden and Kale, and now we got Kyle on the team. So just practice and hitting my marks and practicing on the my screen went out. Sorry, guys.
Don't worry.
But practicing, hitting the lines, the different track conditions, the way the car feels, the muscle memory, throttle control. Just getting everything tuned in weekly really helped a lot, and I'd say that's most of it.
And then Braden shows up, man. Is this your first year in iRacing or what?
So I've been on for about a year. This will be basically my first year. Obviously, my first year at Friday Night Lights. But yeah, it's my first year in iRacing. I think when I joined, I started December 2022, and then goes into 2023, obviously, and then now. So that's around a year.
So you got
really impressive.
Go ahead, Brian.
Really impressive.
Thank you.
One thing I got to say about you guys, when I think about the Carters, I think they practiced all week and they're ready to attack tonight.
Appreciate that, man. Yeah, hard work definitely pays off.
Yeah, I was just going to say there is a guy that we race with in real life, right? Everyone said that they're cheating. Their motor has this, their motor has that. But these cats are the same cats we race on Saturday nights. Their car is tore completely down on Sunday. They're washing every single part on that car. They're getting everything ready for the following week. So time equals, you call it cheating, call it whatever. But that's what I attribute it to. I talked last. I don't know if you guys watched the stream last week, but I came looking just to test out the broadcast equipment before the Dash for Cash, and you guys were in the sprint car race, man.
Yeah.
So I think time pays off. I don't care what anybody says. You guys put in shit ton of hours, man.
Yeah, that's definitely what it is. And just like real racing, preparation's key. You gotta have your stuff. Every nut and bolt gets checked. Everything gets tore apart weekly, greased up. You gotta do that kind of stuff. You want to be competitive in racing, and it carries over to iRacing too. You prepare weekly, and you gotta be ready for whatever comes at you. And I even check the nuts and bolts on my pedals and everything, every so often. So it's just part of it, and it's good habits to have. It carries over to real world and in the sim world. It's just, I don't know. That's how I was taught, and that's how I've always done things.
Yeah, man. I don't doubt that you check the nuts and bolts on your sim rig. I don't. For some reason, I don't doubt that. Right. And I think a lot of your success this year is because of the dude that's on screen right next to you. Right. When we put our son, right, we talked about you and your dad back in the day when somebody bumped somebody and it was the outcome was not favorable for one.
Oh, yeah.
So I think when my kid, man, we were in Chico last year, I think, and on a restart, man, he pulled up next to me and I didn't know where he was at, right? I wasn't really looking for him either, but he pulled up next to me, man. And that's a whole nother deal. You're like, yeah, I probably won't, start as hard as I would. I want to make sure that he gets off the line good, but in the end, I whooped his ass. So that's all there is to that story.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. So, man, tell us about your new teammate. What is Kyle Hardy all about? Is he a regular CSC dude or how'd that come to be?
Kyle's a local guy around here that he's probably one of the best around this area, to be honest. Dirt late models, supers, crates. He was actually at East Bay for the crate series there before the World of Outlaws ran, or the Lucas Oil ran there, and he won all 3 nights of that and won the finals.
Oh wow!
Yeah, we've been really good friends for years, and he's actually why we're having some success in the late models, because if it wasn't for him, we wouldn't know nothing about him. But
Gotcha.
he's just a really stand-up guy, and he asked us to join the team, and of course, we put him on there. He's a really talented driver, and I think he's going to bring a lot to our team. He's really good at asphalt, really good at dirt too. But yeah, he actually drove on the Lucas Oil Series Tour, the World of Outlaws Tour back in 2019. So yeah, he's a really talented driver, man, really good guy, and we're looking forward to having him on the team.
Yeah, does he have much time for iRacing when you're? Oh, we're going to get to that too. It's on my list of stuff to talk about. So, being in real racing, does he have enough time to be on iRacing, or what's the deal?
He's more kind of like he'll be able to get on a few times through the week, and then winter time, same deal with me. We'll have more time in the weekends, Friday, Saturday deal. But yeah, he gets on when he can, and it's tough. I mean, during the real season, so I'm sure he'll make time when he can, and
Yeah.
we'll all gel together and make stuff happen.
Yeah, man, that's why we shut down Friday Night Lights during the summer, during the race season. I don't have time to be, I'm fumbling around in the garage. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know a freaking wheel from a lug nut or from anything, right? So I don't have time. I gotta be concentrating. Gotta be in the garage. Brian's telling me to sipe tires and do all this other craziness. And man, I just shake my head. I have no idea what the hell's going on.
You got to sipe them tires, man. That means a lot. That's traction.
Tell him, man. Tell him. He won't listen to me.
Man, I listen. Baby powder this and do all this, man, all this craziness. Yeah.
Yep. It means a lot.
Yeah, man. And coming from nothing, right? I mean, racing wise, I was never on a track before last year. And we're just we had some good friends down the road that helped us a little bit, but it's really just me and Joey going, man, what the hell? I have no idea. That one week I set the car up backwards, oh, what a mess, right? And thank God it was only a practice. I was like, holy smokes. So
you live and learn, man.
To that, right? So the Longacre, the one with the bubble, right? That you do your caster and camber. Well, Brian had me get this $18,000 freaking digital damn thing. So of course I went and bought it. And man, I checked it and checked it and checked it. And with the bubble one, you turn your steering wheel to the right first, on the right front, right? So that's what I did. And man, to get that camber or cast, can't remember what it was, Brian, caster maybe. Can't remember.
Yeah,
But to get it right, man.
Casters, you got to turn back and forth.
He had negative caster on.
Yeah, I was balls on, right? I
Oh.
was balls on with my gauge. And then I went out on the track, man, and I was going to sell that damn car. I'm like, this thing is freaking horrible. I can't drive this car. So we came back and I read the instructions on the what gauge did I have, Brian? What'd you tell me to buy?
The intercom
Yeah.
camber caster gauge.
Yeah. And I read the
think I got
directions.
one. Yeah.
That one you do it opposite.
Yeah.
You start with your wheel turned to the left on the right front. So I did it 100% backwards. And these guys out at the track, they were moving the panhard bar, and they're like, man, you need some help.
Oh, that's front end geometry, man. That means a lot in these cars. On any car, you got to have your front end geometry right. So
yeah. So it's been an adventure, man. And Brian tries to steer us, but sometimes he's like, yeah, it's drinking out of a fire hose, man. He's like, yeah, do this and man, put 35 pounds of pressure in your right side tires, let them babies set to get your. What did you ask me this year? You're like, what is your offset? Was it offset that we were talking about?
The
stagger. What was your stagger? Shit, I have no idea.
Yeah, you need to know these things, buddy.
Man, we're getting there. It's a long road. Yeah, but without Brian, man, he helps us out. So, Brayden, man, what's the story? You're in high school, I assume.
Mm-hmm.
What grade?
I'm a junior.
Junior in high school. What's the plans? What's the way forward for you?
Man, I don't know. I haven't really thought about that. Now I'm in auto body, do welding work. I do painting. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like outside of school, I'll probably get into the business with my dad. If not, I might do something along those lines. I plan to auto tech next year and learn more. I just want to learn more about car, that stuff. And I already have a teacher, but I feel like it's just good to do that every single day and have that all year. I feel like that helped me a lot.
Yeah. So you said get in business with your dad. Michael, what do you do?
I actually work with my dad, the Randy Carter Painting. We've been painting.
Oh, right on.
Yeah, my dad's been painting since he was a teenager. So he's 64 now. So he's been painting 50 years. I've been doing it since I was 12 years old. So my dad and my uncle own a business together, and we do a lot of work around here for a local college and some schools, and a lot of higher end houses, custom painting. So yeah, we do pretty well. So that's what I do. I work for them, and he's got the opportunity to work if he wants to. So that's all the balls in his court there. So
yeah.
Do that.
Say that again. I'm sorry.
I did work a little bit over the summer, not much, but just days, just to help out. 3.
So when I was a junior in high school, I had no freaking clue. I thought I did. I thought I had it figured out, right? Baseball scouts were looking, and man, we were on our way. I had no freaking idea, man, that I would end up in the military. Especially me, of all people, right? Because you couldn't tell me when I was a kid. You couldn't tell me anything, man. I'm not listening. But yeah, at your age, man, keep all those options open. Any itch to get into the real car?
Oh, definitely. I'd love to do that before I graduate. We're looking for a hobby now, but we haven't found it. I plan to.
Have you hot lapped?
No, not yet. Have not. He's too scared to let me.
Not the late model. Not the late model yet. He don't know how to drive a clutch yet. Them things are $high transmissions, so I have to do baby steps. I'd rather him learn on a 3-speed and get him a hobby stock and get him some laps and something a little older, just in case anything happens. And I mean, them things are expensive, so I'm not saying he's not going to do good. I mean, I wasn't the greatest when I started, but I was a little slow to get to learning. But after about 5 or 6 times, I got the hang of it, and I did tear some stuff up though. So and stuff's a lot more expensive now. So I figure we get him an older car that's not something too new, for him to learn on, and then once he graduates from that, then maybe get him something, more what I'm running, a late model or something. So that's
So
the
you
plan.
still have the stock, right?
Oh, we sold that. We got rid of it.
You did.
Yes, we got rid of that car. We just sold it a couple weeks ago. The reason we got rid of it is because the division around here, we're only getting like 6 or 7 cars a week, and it's kind of getting to where the division, I feel, ain't gonna be around much longer because our rules are a lot different than other tracks' rules around the area of the country. So the hobby stock is they run on the 8-inch tires. You have a stock shock package. The shocks we had on that car was like $2,000 for a set of Penske's. So trying to go back where it's going to be a little cheaper, and where they get a better car count and it'll be around a little longer versus that we got rid of it while we could. So
And what's that home track?
Winchester Speedway, Winchester, Virginia.
Gotcha.
Brian,
Yeah,
how far is that from you? Not far, right?
Probably 6 hours or more.
Is it?
Where you at, Brian?
I'm in Eastern North Carolina.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Yep.
I've been down to North Carolina, Charlotte area. Been to the beaches and stuff through the years. My aunt lives in Wilmington, so kind of familiar with some of them areas.
I'm about 2 hours north of Wilmington.
Oh, okay.
So pops, the younger pops, right? I hear you give your dad shout outs every week because you're never not on the podium, right? So what's the plan, man? If they're not running the stocks for him, what's the plan? What's the car?
Well, I mean, I'm pretty sure the hobby stocks they're going to be around. There's plenty of them around the area, so that's what we're going to do. And then if he's good at that, then like I said, maybe he'll get in the late model I got, and maybe my plan is to get a new rocket eventually, a newer rocket, and maybe step him up into what we got and see what he's got in that thing. But the plan is to get him in a hobby stock as soon as we find something. We actually found one a few weeks ago, or actually last week, and the guy had a guy come to look at it the day we called him, so we kind of missed out on that. But we're definitely looking for him.
Okay, well, right on, man. Can't wait to see you in a real car. You had a heck of a real season last season, 4th in your stock car, and rookie of the year, 10th in late model. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. We won. We won 5 races in the street stock. Had a really good year. Just it was really the best year we've had. We was competitive, top 3 car every week. And then we was running the late model on the other weeks because we only got one hauler right now. That's another issue that we have. We only have one truck and trailer, and that stuff's expensive. So that'd be another thing we have to get. Or the week I'm off, we just haul it to the track. But yeah, we had a really good year, the late model. Thanks to Kyle, KHR, his family, they really got us going the right direction, and we had a good season. We didn't get us a top 5. We had us a couple 6th in that division, but we got rookie of the year and really made some gains through the year. Learned the car, learned the shocks because it's a whole new ball game from late models.
You didn't set it up backwards, did you?
No, Kyle set it up for us. So he knew what he was doing, but not that.
Yeah, man, that's super cool. Brayden, can't wait to see you in a car, man. How many iRacing leagues are you cats in? How many nights a week do you run in a league on iRacing?
We're not as we kind of used to be. I run. Honestly, the only ones I really have right now are 2 asphalt leagues that I barely run. I run my close friend of mine's league just for fun, something we do. My dad's not in that. And then Kyle invited us to this league called IA. We run that every now and then. My dad runs it more than me, but it's just something we do. Not in many dirt leagues. I had Friday Night Lights every week. That's really what we have for and look forward to. But we might plan to get in some other ones. That's up to the guys. But yeah.
Yeah, Brian came from he did a lot of asphalt stuff back in his day. You guys run any real races? Any aspirations to get on the hard surface in a real car?
Nah. I've never been an asphalt fan. I mean, it's fun on here, but as far as real life, I always said, even I guess if I were to ever made it when I was younger and went to NASCAR or something, I would have took the opportunity. But as far as I'd rather race on dirt, man. Like I don't watch NASCAR much anymore. I'm not into it. Just
Same.
because it's not fun to watch. The stages, everything's changed so much. You know, it ain't like it used to be back in the '90s. So if a good dirt race is on, I'm definitely tuning into Flow or Dirt Vision or anything I can watch that's dirt related.
Yeah. So we had that conversation last week about NASCAR and the differences, and yeah, I feel you. Although, gentlemen, I did find myself for the first time since I don't even know 90, 98, 99. No, I was in Europe. Early 2000s, sitting down to watch a NASCAR race 2 weeks in a row, right? They're Atlanta. I must have not had shit going on. I must have been bored. So I sat down to watch the race at Atlanta. And, man, fellas, I just can't do it. I just can't get into it. You know, was the finish great? Absolutely. Was it a photo finish? Absolutely. But all of the blocking coming to the finish was just, hey, if that shit happened in anywhere else, right, where they were throwing huge blocks and it just didn't sit well with me. The finish was awesome. Daniel Suarez ended up winning, right? But and 3 cars wide, and that's what NASCAR is selling, right? The 3 wide at the line, blah 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 blah. Well, the assholes were just blocking the shit out of each other back here, and it looked like a goddamn wreck was going to happen at any moment, right? So yeah, man, just not a fan.
Yeah, me neither. It's not like it used to be, that's for sure.
Yeah. Yep. And we talked about that last week, and we won't. You know what? I did. So last week we talked about the brain, the development of the brain, right? And when that happens, and I don't know if you guys caught the show. But you know what, Brian? I started thinking about that. Do you really want these youngsters out on a track to be able to tie the action and the consequence together, or do you want them just out there freaking send it, son?
You want to bomb an explosion?
Yeah, you know, I was thinking, man, when we got done with the show, I started thinking, you don't see any old infantry guys. You want some dude that you say, listen, go take that hill, and we'll see you. And they're like, well, hell yeah, right? You don't want someone going, now wait a minute. If I go up on that hill,
you just don't want to be racing against a young guy.
Maybe. So remember we talked about Hendricks and all them other teams. Maybe they know we don't want someone that thinks this through. I'll tell you, in a dwarf car, I'm like, so this guy's in front of me. This guy's behind me. I got to be careful. This guy's going to go here. I'm not going to throw it in there. We need someone that just said, piss on it. We're throwing it in and we're throwing it against the wall and see what sticks. Right? So
some kids do it, that's for sure.
Yeah, maybe you don't. So the moral, well, I went down a tangent on that one. The moral of the story is maybe you don't want that brain fully formed, right? And maybe that's why, and nothing against you, Brayden, you're just young, right? Maybe you want him just out there.
On shoulders. He's good.
Out there just sending it, right? You'd be like, hey, I'm not sure if this will fit. So,
yeah. I mean, I did it when I was younger. I didn't care. I put it in holes that wasn't supposed to be in. And I mean,
that's a different story. That's a different show.
That didn't come out right. I put it in holes on the track that wasn't supposed to be in. On the racetrack, Jeff. He got me up here blushing, man.
How much you put on the back of your cars?
What's that? Stick it in deep, bring it out dirty?
Yep.
That was meant for the racetrack. We used to always have that on the back of our race car through the years.
So what about open wheel? You guys got any open wheel dirt cars? We talked about that a little bit. Brian and I did offline about, back east, it's mods, and then the Midwest, you get into late models, even in Virginia. Out here, I mean, we might have one late model league in real life. Everything else is sprint cars and freaking micro sprints and blah, blah, blah. So you guys have any open wheel stuff?
They got UMPs that run here, the modifieds weekly, and then the big blocks venture up to Hagerstown Speedway, so you can go watch them every now and then. Sprint cars actually go there through the year too. But as far as in Winchester, they don't. They have like a little 305 series, I think, that comes there, but they ain't really fast like the 410s or the 360s. But yeah, they ain't. The Pennsylvania area, they have a lot of the sprint cars and stuff, but
Yeah.
They bring 2 USAC 360 shows down to Winchester every year.
okay, yeah, they do that too. Yeah, the USACs they're pretty good to watch.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, and here, like I said, we got one every in a dwarf car. If you're racing Friday or Saturday night, you're following sprint cars, right? That are cutting ruts in a track that are about 10 feet deep. My car is only 3 feet tall. So, man, that track gets freaking rough, bro. And a 7-inch wide tire. And yeah, I often wonder what that difference was. Really looking forward to High Limit. We ran with the World of Outlaws guys twice last year, once at Chico. And this year we're running with High Limit, and then following that up with World of Outlaws in Stockton. So pretty cool to see that. Not a lot of time to look around when you're in there with those dudes, but you know, we talked earlier how down to earth those guys are. Kyle Larson and Brad Sweet are the promoters for Chico, and we got to Chico really early for our race, man. And Brad Sweet on a 4-wheeler in jeans, you know, follow me. And he drove us. We're dwarf cars. We're not big time. We're nobody. Drove us to our parking and parked us. He's like, right here. Sweet. Brad Sweet doing freaking escorting. Yeah. So that's going to be fun. All right, fellas. So when we're talking about somebody in high school, Brian, you may be able to help here. So there was once upon a time the Hunt the Front guys. Who's the dude with the beard?
Innerkin.
Innerkin. Yeah.
Yep.
So, Brian, you told me about him once, way back when he was doing something on the internet or something. I can't remember, but I tuned in, right? And that's when he announced on that episode, that's it. He's done working. He's going to do this internet crap for a living. And that got me to thinking, man. So not only, because now he's running every once in a while. I don't know. That's kind of a strange arrangement, man. What do you know about that Hunt the Front arrangement? Sometimes he drives, sometimes he doesn't.
Well,
what do you know about that?
Hunt the Front, I really think more of Joseph Winter's thing and his brother, Jonathan. Jesse Innerkin's on there. Basically, all 3 of their thing. Jesse Innerkin streams. I don't know what else he does. I know he races every night. They're down racing mods right now. But I know he does. He races sometimes, and I know he streams a lot of iRacing too. So I don't know.
Yeah. So that was going to be my question. What does a guy have to do? You got a kid, a junior in high school. What do you have to do to make a living at this? What level is that? Right? I mean, you could iRacing. Could you do it? Sure. But when I watched his show, you know, hey, I'm going to go out on my own. Please like and subscribe. Please do, please. But I ain't asking nobody that shit. No.
Yeah.
If you either like it or you don't, right? Matter of fact, there's one guy, got to be careful here, that does a broadcast, man, and his picture never leaves the screen, right? Just totally self-promoting. And I want to just scream, you know, it's not about you. But if you want to do that shit for a living, I guess you got to do what you got to do, right?
Yeah.
So what is that, man? Where is that, Brian? Where is that, Michael? Where do you start making enough to? I guess enough is kind of an odd number. What do you got to make $100,000? What do you got to do in real racing? Not only iRacing. Where's that at, man? Somebody's doing it, right? Somebody's doing it.
I mean,
Oh yeah.
You gotta be I mean, you could do it at like you run there's steel block series and stuff, and you just have to be really successful and run the bigger races, and you gotta win them. I mean, you gotta be successful because second place don't pay as much. I mean, a $10,000 race, it drops off to probably 5,000 or less these days. You might not even get that. So you just have to have a really, really good season and be successful. And I don't see it. Even the big time guys, they got I mean, look at Ricky Thornton. I mean, he won almost everything last year. They had a great season, but I mean, you probably look at everything they spent last year, and it probably wasn't. It wasn't, all rainbows and unicorns. They
Yeah.
probably spent a hell of a lot of money. So,
Yep.
it's racing's more of a hobby, unless you're driving for somebody and they're paying the bills and they're paying you to drive for them, and you get part of your earnings. I mean, that'd be a way to make a living, for the most part. But an average guy that owns his own stuff, I don't see anybody making a lot of money in the racing world as much as everything costs now.
Yeah, I think I got an $88 check last year. That was my biggest show up money, was I think $88. And holy shit, I know I spent a small fortune. But that shirt that Brian has on, and this was not planned, right? That 1.8 sprint car. Tanner Holmes was racing outlaw karts right down the road here in Red Bluff, right? And he ended up with that ride in World of Outlaws last year. So, and I was thinking, I didn't really hear a lot about him. I saw him on Facebook and the regular media stuff, but never really heard a lot about that cat. And all of a sudden, here's a kid that's racing go-karts, outlaw karts in Red Bluff, and boom, he's racing World Outlaws. And I started thinking, how the hell does that happen, right? And I know they have some money, right? Because even when they're hauling their cars around here, they have a nice hauler, but it's not like nice, it's not that nice. So I wondered, man, what do you got to do? What do you got to do this for a living, right? Maybe if you mix like Timez, man, he mixes his YouTube stuff with his racing stuff. And I don't think racing is going to pay. It's just not. There's not those. You have to have somebody that's going to, as you said, pay your bills. Yeah. And, how is it just, help me out here? Is it just dumb luck? I meet Brian. Brian says, Joe, you're a good dude. So I want you to drive my car and I'm going to pay you, whatever. Well, better be like $1 million with the money he's got. But.
Let me come down to North Carolina. I'll drive for you.
Yeah, Brian was a car owner last season, a legend car actually on the dirt.
Okay.
So yeah. So how it's the same thing with sponsors. I can't go ask anybody. I will tell you guys that Friday Night Lights is super easy for me to ask for sponsors, but I've only contacted like 4. Right? Because they have to believe in what we believe in and they have to be 100% in and blah, 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 blah. But everyone tells me with the real car. I mean, we got some of these cats that are posting for sponsors on Facebook out in like it's freaking normal, and my kid and I, we were going to a race and he said, man, I don't think I can go beg for money. I said, you know what? Me neither. So once the wallet runs out, we'll just stop and maybe we'll, just hang out. Yeah. But, yeah, at that point, what do you're not working. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm just in an old mindset right now. Brian's paying me to what, hang out? Yeah. And what happens when Brian gets pissed off, right? Because rich people get tired of poor people eventually, right? So if it's
find somebody else, Joe.
Hey, that shit happens, bro. It could happen, right? And so if now my wagon is hitched to Brian's and he's done with me, then what do I got? So yeah, I don't know. Maybe that's the world of racing. Maybe I don't understand it as well as I should, but I think we all should be able to make money at this, so we can quit our jobs. Oh wait, I'm the oldest one in here. I got 4 years to go, and I'm quitting my job.
Okay.
For life.
Retiring. Okay.
Yeah, 4 years. 4 years to go, and that'll be my second retirement. I'll be retired military, retired civil service. Yeah, man. And my wife will be retired civil service also. So can't wait. And then we're going to make our escape out of California to Kentucky, West Virginia, Tennessee, somewhere in that area.
Come on to Virginia.
So she loved it, man. She had to go to damn it, what's the base in Virginia? On the coast over there.
Uh,
Langley, maybe.
yeah, Langley. Yeah.
She loved it, bro. She came back and said, "Hey, we're moving to Virginia." I said,
Nicer
"Whoa."
that way for the most part. There's some bad parts that way, but
Yeah.
which everywhere's got that area. But
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we were stationed in Delaware, and I got to tell you guys, and the people in Delaware, the first state, and they'd let you hear that every time you talk to them. That was the first thing they freaking said to you, right? And I came from Missouri. I was stationed at Missouri before that, where you go to a grocery store and you end up talking to some dude you've never even met in your life, and you know his whole story and the weather and blah, 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 blah. People in Delaware, a bunch of assholes, in my opinion. And maybe, just maybe, it's because I came from Missouri that was so laid back. Here's a story, man. So I'm from California, born and raised. So I got assignment to Missouri. And the night we got there, my buddy says, "Hey, we're going to this to the local fair in town." The town is called Knob Noster, Missouri. Not too far from Warrensburg, where the college is. So I said, "All right." So we pull up. The town only has stop signs, no street lights, nothing. There's one 4-way stop, and that was blocked off, right? So we hear these people hollering and screaming and carrying on. Now I'm coming straight from California, you know, with the shorts on and just kind of everything's cool. And man, what the hell's going on? So we make our way up there, man. And in the center of that 4-way stop, the only 4-way stop in town, big paint lines, circles, squares in the middle of the road. What the hell? And there's this dude out there tickling a cow with a feather on the nose. I said, "What the hell is going on here?" "Well, this is Betsy Bingo." And I'm like, "What? Betsy Bingo?" "Yeah, we all bet on which square that cow's going to take a dump in. And if you win, you get the money." I was like, "What? What the hell did I get myself into, man?" Fellas, that was the best 8 years of my freaking life. I fit in. It didn't take me long. I had 3 squares I was buying the next year, man. I was in. I was 100% in. But that's the difference, right? And then the East Coast just, it wasn't for me. All right, so what else we got? We got micros coming to iRacing. I'm not crazy excited about that. I'm thinking it's maybe an underpowered midget, maybe. And yeah, what are your thoughts, Brian? What do you think about that?
I'm just ready to see Bilbridge. Honestly, I'm kind of like you. I don't know what to expect. Is it going to be? I hope it's going to be a lot better than a legend car. How about that?
Yeah, right. It's just it's kind of in that same class, I would think. Midgets are hard. I know they don't handle like that in real life. They can't, right? Is it just going to be another? Yeah, I don't know. I'm just not crazy excited for a 600 micro sprint, but we already have how many sprint cars, right? 305s, fucking 360s, 410s, blah blah blah. So
blah blah blah. That's how I feel about it too.
That's coming out soon. What else we got going on? I think that's all.
SRX is coming too.
Yep.
Oh yeah. I saw that also. SRX is coming. That's gonna probably be a little bit different, right? We got contacted by another league that they're starting an IMCA deal. They did a setup where they can get street stocks and UMPs to handle like IMCA modifieds, and they're trying to get a whole gang of people together to a bunch of leagues to run their setup and their rules. And the thought process is having a big nationals event in the end somewhere. They got to hold us right as we were done. So yeah, that might be something that we're going to have him on a future broadcast. We're going to talk about that because I was wanting to do something with sprint cars, figure out how to, kind of have a traveling show, but I'm not real sure. Like the World of Outlaws moves around, so I don't know, man. I don't know. Okay, Brian, what you got?
I got some rapid fire questions. Who wants them? Braden or Michael?
How about you go 1 for 1?
You
Michael,
got
then Braden. Michael, then Braden.
That's fine. That works.
All right. Summer or winter?
Summer.
All right. Favorite sport to watch besides racing?
Football.
Okay, I hear you. Favorite food?
Steak.
I hear you.
That's right.
Favorite driver?
Ooh, dirt or talking dirt? Bobby
Either
Pierce.
way.
Bobby Pierce.
I hear you. I hear you. All right. Favorite car on iRacing, modified or late model?
Late model for sure.
I hear you. There you go.
Or,
There you go. All right.
Yep. All right, fellas. So that's a wrap. Again, man, I can't wait to see how your real season goes. We were supposed to run March 1st and 2nd, this Friday and Saturday. Brad Sweet already canceled it. So we were going to run, I think it's called the Silver Cup in Chico, and that got canceled. So we're not running this weekend, and it looks like rain for freaking ever.
yeah.
So yeah, looking forward to the real season. We're gonna have some changes with Friday Night Lights. I don't know if you guys we'll talk before we have plenty of time for October, right? Hopefully I get refreshed and we come up with some new thoughts on how we're going to do this. I really like the driver has to buy their way into the Dash for Cash with weekly earnings, but we'll see how that plays out. Any last closing thoughts, Brayden?
I have nothing. I can't think of anything on the spot right now.
Yeah, man. Thanks for coming on the show. You had a freaking awesome season. Do you crew for your dad when you're out?
Dude, I was fan. I got the sticks. I do anything he asks me to. Whatever I can do, I do. Whatever I need to do.
That'll make sure you don't set that shit up backwards when you get it on your own. Michael, last thoughts, man. What do you got?
I want to get back on the subject real quick. Earlier, you said he's what drove me to do so good this year, and you're probably right. He did so well, and he made me drive better this year because I mean he did really well, and he surprised me a lot as quick as he caught on to this, and yeah, he had me sweating every week pretty much. So yeah, he definitely made me do better this year, and it was awesome, seeing him compete at the level he did on iRacing. I'm very proud of him, and it just meant a lot running with him all season. So
yeah, man, and you just made a big mistake by saying, and how quick he caught on. You don't think he's going to get in a real car and catch on that quick? Shit, he's going to be on fire. Fire.
He's probably going to make me look bad eventually, but hey, I'll hold on to my glory while I can.
If he was out here, I'd put him in a dwarf car. I'd stop racing.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome.
So back to a point, man. So did you take out your dad, or your dad take you out? How'd that play out?
He took me out. I was holding him up at a national event, and it was like my second year. And I was I had underpowered equipment. I had the smaller engine, the older car, but he said I was holding him up, so he drove on in there and dumped me. And all I did was look at the official. I was like, "Who the hell took me out?" And he's like, "Your dad." And I was like, "Well, he's going to the rear." He said I told him to put him in the rear, but that ain't a true story. So when you watch this, Pop, you're lying.
So how was that conversation at the hauler afterwards? I mean, you can't fight, right? You got to get home. You got to get home, and you got two cars. It sounds like. You like, listen, asshole. I'm leaving you and your car here. 3 cars.
He just told me how slow I was, so and I mean it was like my second year, so I mean I get it, but I don't know. We all live and learn, but yeah, we had a mini. We run first and second against each other. Me and my uncle and him, all had cars out of the same garage, all raced same division. So we was always battling it out, and it was a fun time back through the early 2000s when I was young, about his age, a little bit older than him. But I hope he gets experience in the same thing I did, and racing gets me like I got to race against my dad.
Yeah, are we gonna be able to get him out on behind the wheel of a rig or what? Maybe if we do your dad, put him in your sim rig.
Oh, I've been
Or-
trying to get him. I've been trying to get him to come up here and try this, but my dad's always he wasn't worried about winning. He was worried about whoever hit him that night. He was getting revenge. He was worried about tearing his bumper off and making sure they got it back. So I don't know how well he would do on iRacing. He'd probably get banned within the first week or two. But I think he's been looking into maybe finding one if he can find one at the right price, and he'll probably eventually try it out.
Yeah, we'll have to set up a hosted session and just get all of us knuckleheads in there. But that's what he told me. He said he's losing his temper. He doesn't need to be on iRacing.
That's true. He's calmed down a little bit, but he's definitely a hot-headed. Barred every other week for fighting or taking somebody out. They actually mandated the little on-off switches at our track on the back of the car so the officials can turn them off because he kept wanting to go on the track. They come up to the car and he'd take off. He did it for like 20 minutes, and then they mandated them switches a few weeks later. So,
yeah, man, greatly appreciate, man, your fans out there. Virginia was by far every week the most viewers came out of the state of Virginia, and your dad stepping up and sponsoring our late model division, freaking fabulous. So, Brian, last thoughts in your professional studio you got going on there, man. I love that, Brian. Gosh darn.
I like it.
Isn't it? That looks good, man. He's got the hat, the shirt, the backdrop, and a camera.
Yeah,
that shit is looking. That shit is top notch. What you got, bro?
I don't know. I just appreciate y'all guys coming out, racing with us every week, putting on a great show, and making everybody get better.
I appreciate you guys having us, man. It's a pleasure. It is.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. So that is episode 2. Oh, we're gonna get Kale on here too. We got to talk about his Navy stuff. So the final member of CSC, Kale Smith, will be on an upcoming episode. Not really sure if we're gonna have a podcast next week. But again, just like Friday Night Lights, what we do on this show is up to you, the fans. So please leave some comments if you want to see us do something different or whatever the case is. Leave us some comments so we know where to take this show. Other than that, I wish everybody a wonderful weekend. Oh, live. So these are recorded. We are taping this Wednesday night. I didn't quite have the guts to go 100% live, but we didn't edit anything last week, and I don't think we'll edit anything this week. So live is coming, where we can have some interaction with the fans out there. So look for that in the next few weeks. Yeah, why not? Right? The fans supported us through that entire season. 100+ comments every night. So, yep, that's coming up. Everybody, thank you for tuning in, and until next time, we'll see you.
Thank you, guys.